If you haven't watched the English dub history episode of K-On! Parts 1 and 2, please do so. We last left off talking about the SDI Media Hong Kong dub of K-On! Season 2. Today, we are going to talk about the American dub of Season 2 and the movie. K-On! Was a smash hit in America, with glowing reviews from critics and fans and a devout following across the anime community. However, K-On! Had a problem. On January 2nd, 2012, Bandai Entertainment, who licensed Season 1, announced they were going to stop producing and distributing new content for their existing licenses. This meant no new DVDs, Blu-rays, or manga volumes for anything. This news left K-On! In a licensing limbo. Thankfully, the following month would bring good news, as Houston-based company Sentai Filmworks announced their acquisition of the K-On! License on February 20th, 2012. But wait, what does this mean for the existing K-On! Voice cast? Would the California cast be replaced by Houston actors? Fans didn't need to fret, as the press release also stated there would be a dub of Season 2 by Bang Zoom Entertainment in California, the studio that also dubbed Season 1. Unlike Hong Kong's dub, every actress on the American cast reprised their roles in Season 2. Home video releases benefited from Sentai taking over. Instead of releasing 4 episodes at a time like Bandai, Sentai released all 24 episodes plus the 2 bonus episodes and 1 OVA on 2 home video sets, with 13 episodes on Collection 1 released on June 19th, 2012, and 13 plus the OVA on Collection 2 released on August 28th, 2012. The trade-off though was the bonus features, or lack thereof. Season 1's DVDs and Blu-rays had the expected creditless opening and ending, but also boasted cast interviews and English dubbed songs. Sentai's releases though, clean opening animation, clean closing animation, and Sentai trailers. So, the bare minimum. Additionally, there were no new promotional concerts with the English Hokago Tea Time. Their concert at J-Pop Summit in August 2011 would be their last. Everyone on the cast and production staff returned for this new season, including director Tony Oliver. Oliver can also be heard as basically every male character in the show. Okay, not all of them, but a noticeable majority of them. But K-On! Season 2 brought in some other talent to voice the bevy of background characters, including one particular actress that was brand new to the dubbing scene, Erica Harlicker. Her first voiceover gig was playing background students in K-On! Season 2. She's since gone on to be in projects like Persona 5, Danganronpa, and Hunter x Hunter. Now let's look at the dub itself. Last season, the dub closely followed the home video subtitle script, practically to a T, with exception to making lip flapper timing adjustments, occasionally fixing some wording, and often removing honorifics. In Season 2, the dub still generally follows the subtitles, but starts to do its own thing more often. The subs this season can get wordy, like in Episode 6 where the script listed prices on items purchased. There weren't enough lip flaps to name every single price in English. Speaking of prices, the subtitles use yen like the Japanese version this season, while the dub continues to use US dollars. The dub also continues to use imperial measurements instead of the metric system, except for episode 15 where the girls run the marathon because a marathon traditionally is calced as 42.195 kilometers. The English dub is a bit more consistent on using honorifics. There are still episodes where it flip-flops, but overall honorifics are used more often. Additionally, the dub began to use Sawa-chan instead of Miss Yamanaka this season. Maybe they listened to fan feedback? The dub script even changed some of the jokes present in the subtitles. If you'll recall in part 2, I mentioned K-On! Season 2 has a lot of puns, dialects, and aspects of the Japanese language that require some creative liberties to work in English. In episode 14, when Mugi starts speaking in a Hakata dialect asking Ritsu for a hug, the subs have Mugi say Gisabusi, which means give me a cuddle or give me a hug in Doric, which is the northeastern Scots language dialect. Because this is such a weird thing to say, Ritsu replying with "Where are you from?" makes sense. The dub decided to go a different route.
Kyoto, spasiba, gracias! Where the heck are you from?
Did you catch that? Mugi just said thank you in Finnish, Russian, and Spanish. This gives a different meaning to Ritsu saying, "Where the heck are you from?" While I did say it is unfair to compare the SDI Media Hong Kong dub to the American dub or the Japanese original, I still want to showcase some more scenes I brought up when discussing the Hong Kong dub and see how the American version tackled them. I also want to show some I didn't talk about last time. First up, the joke in episode 1 where Yui calls Azusa the Keonbuta. In the Bang Zoom dub and home video subtitles, the joke is that Azusa is the bacon in the Light Music Club sandwich. And yes, half asleep Stephanie Shea carries the joke over to episode 2 and says Light Music Club sandwich. Mio's bass in this version is named Elizabeth, which is perfect as in Japanese is the same idea, combining Elizabeth and bass. Episode 4's trip to Kyoto has the girls in the Japanese version speak in a goofy, old-timey Japanese dialect. The dub adapts this by having them speak in goofball ye-old English accents. Episode 8's flashback to Ritsu suggesting Mio end sentences with daze was adapted to suggesting that Mio end sentences with dude in the Bang Zoom dub. If you'll recall, daze is a typically male way to add some oomph to a sentence, and dude is a pretty good substitute. Azusa saying ki no mochi-o, which is a saying that generally means it depends on how you look at it, in episode 11 was changed to mind over matter in the US dub. In context of the situation, this is good, as Yui and Ritsu are trying to beat the heat. And Ritsu's pun-based song ideas in episode 17 in the American dub are as follows.
Salmon row, row, row your boat? Phone the phone? The cat catnapped?
Episode 17 is full of puns, including ones I didn't go over in part 2. Early in the episode, when the Light Music Club is looking for somewhere to practice, they decide to try a classroom. In Japanese, Yui says kutsuroide to Azusa, which means relax. Ritsu interprets it as kutsunuida, which means take off one's shoes, and proceeds to do so. This joke practically fell into the scriptwriter's laps because a common saying in English telling someone to relax is kick off your shoes, and Ritsu does just that. The dub still didn't have major vocal songs dubbed into English, but did dub smaller songs like Yui's Turtle Song.
Why, Mr. Turtle, why are you so slow?
Along with these little songs being dubbed, Bang Zoom dubbed the girls singing snippets of songs by the band during the marathon. What's more, they used the official English dubbed lyrics for Fwa Fwa Time and My Love is a Stapler from the bonus features in Season 1.
Whenever I look at you, I feel my heart go doki doki. I get so giggly and wiggle like a...
Why is it this way? On nights like this, my mind begins.
As much as this production seems great, this dub isn't without its faults. The Bang Zoom script didn't stick the landing every time with puns and gags. Some were skipped, like the lyrics pun in episode 17, but some just come off as a little strange. Going back to episode 1 again, when Yui is trying to recruit new members by asking strangers directions to the Light Music Club room, in Japanese she speaks in a Kansai dialect. And may I mention again, Aki Toyosaki would go on to voice another character with a Kansai dialect. Please watch Yuru Camp. Aki Toyosaki is amazing in it. But anyway, getting off track. K-On! In the US dub of K-On!, Yui speaks to people in the hall in a vaguely British old lady accent.
Sorry, dearies, do you know where the Light Music Club room is?
I like SDI Media's version of this moment better, where Yui uses a southern accent. That's a common way to adapt the dialect, but I digress. The dub also makes some slip-ups. Stephanie Shea in episode 9 says this.
She's looked after me and Yui since we were little, and I want to repay the favor.
She was supposed to say me and Ui. Whoops. And going back to episode 1, Yui says bunny bunny instead of oink oink, which is a huge downgrade. The subtitles say oink oink, so go figure. Once again, like in the SDI Media dub, the scene of Ritsu and Yui reacting to an English textbook is played straight, but I love how the lines are delivered.
Let me see. Oh, English! My eyes, I'm seeing flashes! This is Japan! We don't need no stinking English here! Amen, sister! We'll stand strong! We shall live by Japanese alone! Amen, sister!
And lastly, when Yui is reciting the lines to her instant classic, Rice as a Side Dish, there is a pun in the chorus of the song. She counts to 5 in Japanese, but she adds han, so it becomes a pun combining 5 and rice. Again, just by principle, it doesn't translate.
1, 2, 3, 4, rice!
This dub's weaknesses are far outweighed by its strengths, and there are dozens and dozens of moments or examples that could be discussed. With a strong cast, director, and script, this dub stands out amidst others of its kind. While actresses on this project never recorded together at the same time, it sounds like they're having an amazing time and bouncing off each other so well, from day-to-day interactions to hilarious situations to even the emotional moments. I need to talk about it again, don't I? Episode 20 is the emotional climax of the series, where the Light Music Club girls play a concert for the school festival. They go back to the club room and think about what's coming next, only to realize There's not much time left for the seniors before graduation. Okay. I don't care how many times I watch K-On! Or what version I'm watching, episode 20 gets me every single time.
Are you gonna hold yourself back a year? There aren't gonna be any more school festivals for us.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of a big bummer.
It's sweat, not tears.
Major props to everyone on the cast for making me cry during this episode. Episodes 21 through 23 have the girls preparing for the big day with some fun mixed in, but episode 24 is the day the third years graduate from high school. This episode does have a few fun moments amidst the heavier atmosphere, although I feel the dub handled the game of telephone weirdly. Once again, the dub team at Bang Zoom delivered on this moving episode. This is supposed to be a cute, fun anime. Why is it so good at making people cry?
I'm really sorry. I promised myself that I wouldn't cry. I wanted to look happy for you.
This episode closes off with one final song to Hohokago Tea Time's youngest bandmate. Unfortunately, the dub has the same problem as SDI Media in this scene, but not as bad. The line Azusa tells Hohokago Tea Time originally is exactly what Yui said in episode 1, telling the girls they're not very good. This dub gets close-ish, but is still a different line. Again, I can't blame the scriptwriters for not remembering a line from episode 1 of season 1. But that's one flaw in a strong dub episode. It's a strong closing act to an excellent dub season. Or so I would say if we didn't have 3 other episodes to discuss. Unlike SDI Media's dub of season 2, the Bang Zoom dub included episodes 25 through 27 at the same time as their other dub episodes. These episodes are extras, and specifically episode 27 was a Blu-ray exclusive in Japan that leads up to the movie. The girls ultimately decide to go to the UK, where residents speak English. There's lots of fun in this episode, but one scene has Yui trying to speak English and ending up playing charades. How did the US dub handle this? By not using English at all. For example, when Yui asks if Mugi speaks English in the Japanese version, Yui in the dub just asks if Mugi knows foreign stuff. And instead of trying to speak in English, Yui tries to speak in French.
Bye, hotel, poor moi.
Where is my hotel? That sounds like you bought the place.
The girls also continue to say they're speaking in Japanese. Yui even says no Nihongo in the dub, so the whole thing is kinda muddy.
Okay, no Nihongo.
And then what about the line where the girls say they'll always be Hohokago Tea Time? Well, the dub found a way around it. Rewrite the line entirely.
Wherever we go and play will always be after school tea time.
At the end of the episode, the club members get their passports and are ready to fly to the UK. By this point, there was no confirmation of the movie coming out in the West, and as far as the actresses knew, this was the end of Hohokago Tea Time in the dub. Episode 27 was the farewell to K-On! In English. For now. Critical reception of this dub was once again positive. Anime News Network's Carl Kimlinger reviewed both home video sets and included a couple paragraphs about the dub. He was critical but understanding of the dub's shortcomings as he called K-On! English dubbing kryptonite. It isn't that Sentai Filmworks' dub is bad, it just has trouble measuring up to the Japanese. No one is grossly miscast and nothing particularly incompetent is done, but the cast really struggles to bring the same color to their roles that their Japanese counterparts do. Kimlinger pointed out the dub not trying to voice match the Japanese version allowed them to sound more natural, but subdues the girls' personalities. He further noted the script is too faithful, and that's a fact we've seen in both seasons, which limits how natural the cast can sound. I like his simile of the script clinging to the subtitles like a wet t-shirt. His final note? This is as good a dub as anyone could reasonably expect, but the series fans aren't likely to throw the original over for it. Kimlinger gave the dub a B on the first set and a B+ on the second, with the Japanese version earning a B+ and A- respectively. Nick Creamer of Anime News Network gave the dub an A-, while he gave the Japanese cast an A in his review of the Blu-ray collection released in 2015. He called the dub solid, but criticized the song still not being dubbed, saying it continues to be an awkward immersion killer. Creamer also commented on the subtitles. There are a couple issues with the subtitles, some possibly over-liberal translations, typos, and things like the subs failing to convey that Mugi is speaking in an old-timey dialect for a punchline. Castle Computers' Zach Elawar in his review of Home Video Set 1 didn't have much to say about the dub, just calling it not unbearable. Meanwhile, Benjamin Webb of the same website praised the dub. Now normally cute anime girls done with English voices are absolutely annoying as all hell and immediately make me want to rip out my eardrums and feed them to a laser shark. Fortunately, the dub cast for K-On! Were brilliant at portraying their characters. Webb did point out sometimes the cute factor was put on a bit too much, but overall, the characters sound natural. The K-On! Fandom itself, though, it really depends on who you ask. Die-hard fans will call the dub cringe, but more casual fans are fine with it. It's not like the SDI Media dub, which has overwhelmingly negative reviews. My personal take? K-On!'s US dub is the dub against which I judge all other cute girls doing cute things dubs. And to date, not a single one of the genre compares. Well, there's one that gets kinda close, but we'll talk about that another day. I still prefer watching the Japanese version of K-On!, and truth be told, I didn't even watch either dub in full until I worked on these videos, but I finished the dub by Bang Zoom feeling impressed. The dub isn't perfect, and some of that isn't inherently the production team's fault, like the songs not being dubbed. Songs being left undubbed is a frequent problem in English dubbing, so I'm forgiving of that. There are goof-ups, there are misses, there are moments that could have been done better, but a strong core cast that sounds like a group of best friends, a stellar director that knows how to bring the best out of everyone, and a competent script that successfully captures the original material and adapts many of the jokes make this a high-tier dub in my eyes. This is not the finale of K-On! Yet, nor its dubbed content. The whole Cocoa Tea Time Girls' fun adventures didn't conclude with Season 2. As the quote in the final song goes, graduation is not the end. K-On! Had a movie in 2011, aptly named K-On! The Movie. The film takes place before episode 24. The girls go on a trip before graduating, traveling to jolly old England. Yeah, you can already see where this is going from a dubbing standpoint.
Yeah, the Ibis. Whereabouts?
He's asking where the hotel is, I think.
Whole Cocoa Tea Time makes their canonical overseas debut by playing in London. During their trip, they also devised how to surprise Sawako and Azusa for graduation day, but the movie feels like an extended episode of the series with all the misadventures, which serves as a nice final outing for the K-On! Girls. Kyoto Animation put lots of effort into portraying London accurately. The scenery is based on sights from the team's trip. In fact, this cafe depicted in the movie now has a K-On! Movie poster in its front window in real life. Sentai Filmworks announced they licensed the movie on January 23rd, 2013. Dubbing wrapped up 2 months later, and the film released on May 21st that year, directly to DVD and Blu-ray, just like the rest of North America's K-On! Content. Unlike Sentai's releases of the second season, this home video set came bundled with bonus features. All bonuses found on the Japanese version's home video release were brought over to the English version. Jumping into the dub of the movie, as alluded to earlier, the girls encounter a language barrier while visiting London. So how does one write around this? Well, dubs can take a couple avenues when it comes to visiting an English-speaking country. 1, play it straight and have the audience suspend their disbelief, understanding these characters were originally speaking Japanese. Or 2, have the characters claim they can't understand foreign accents. The script for K-On! The Movie can't seem to make up its mind. Most of the time the girls say they don't understand English,
Azumio, what's kinai shoku in English?
In-flight meal.
and other times the girls say they can't understand British accents.
We have a number of locations throughout the London area.
I don't get her accent. Me neither. What?
It makes sense for Mugi to not understand an accent because she is able to speak some English canonically, but Azusa makes a comment on the accent too, and that doesn't make sense. For context, in Japanese, Mugi says the receptionist is talking too fast, a common complaint when Japanese people listen to native English speakers. Speaking of accents, in the Japanese version, Kyoto Animation hired people from the UK to voice the Londoners, and none of them are even actors. Seriously, none of the native English speakers on the Japanese movie cast have ever done voice acting before or since. Their job histories vary from product design engineers to musicians to photographers. However, with them being from the UK, their accents are authentic and add to the immersion. The English dub opted to re-record the original English dialogue, a frequent practice in dubs for many reasons like having consistent sound quality and shaping dialogue better. Most regulars at Bang Zoom are, of course, American, and they do appear as some of the Londoners. But there is one British guy in the cast.
Look, they have a stage.
Hello. You're the birds from Japan, right-o?
Yes.
I'm the governor of this establishment. You're the ones who'll be songbirding today, right-o?
Who's that voicing the sushi shop manager? Where do I know that voice? Ah, that's Martin Billany. Don't recognize the name? Well, maybe you know him better by his online name, Little Karibo. I'm sure this man needs no introduction to a lot of you, but for those that don't know, he is best known for kicking off the Abridged series craze by making Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series. He is also the voice of Frieza in Team 4 Star's Dragon Ball Z Abridged. This marks Billini's debut in a professional anime dub. He's on the dub as a few Londoners, but most notably the sushi shop manager.
Hey! Oh, nice! Oh, thank you! Arigato gozaimashita!
That was
Billini attended Fanime in San Jose the weekend after the movie released on home video.
But I'm also technically a professional voice actor now. It's my great pleasure to say this is the first actual public event where I've been able to say this. I'm in a bunch of different projects, but the only one that I can talk about, which has just been released, literally just this month, is K-On! The Movie. I'm actually in that as a few characters.
If this tweet is anything to go off, he was very excited people were asking him to sign their DVDs and Blu-rays of K-On! The Movie. All copies of the film had Arigato gozaimashita written alongside his autograph. And as a bit of bonus trivia, Billini cameos in a K-On! Abridged series in 2010 voicing Yu-Gi-Oh's Tristan Taylor in his goofy Barney voice.
Hey Tristan, have you seen Yui's voice?
What voice? Oh no, she's figured it out. I can't let her win. I must eliminate all competition, for my beautiful voice will rule all!
Cool, the dub has an authentic Brit, and this marks yet another voice acting career started by K-On! Other than working with the language barrier, generally the dub follows the subtitles as it did in the anime proper. Unfortunately, some cases of wordplay go awry. For instance, early on when the group is talking about being held back a year, the original script has them say ryunen, which means held back a year. Azusa overhears this, and Mugi tries covering it up by telling Azusa they said Lünen, a city in Germany. There's no easy way around this joke, so the dub has the girls say flunking, and Mugi covers it up by saying flunken. It works as best it can, but isn't as funny because flunken isn't a real place. Doubly unfortunately, following the subtitles worked to the dub's detriment in one aspect of the script. The Japanese version has a recurring joke throughout the movie after Yui makes a joke about calling Azusa Azukato instead of Azunyan. As an aside, the dub has Yui call Azusa Azumiao in this scene. Gee, that sounds familiar. But that's not entirely relevant. What is relevant is that Azukato sounds like Azukate or Azukete, which both originate from Azukeru, which means to entrust. During the movie, every club member makes a joke around Azusa by replacing Azukate or Azukete with Azukato, causing Azusa to react. Not only does this dub not have this joke, but the subs don't have it either. Fan subs of this movie have the Azukato joke as Azucist, which I think is brilliant. It's a shame the joke flew over the writers' heads for the official versions. At the end of the movie, after a hectic dash to catch their flight, the girls travel back to Japan and the seniors graduate from high school. The movie treads on old ground and has the audience relive the emotional farewell to Azusa, but provides a behind-the-scenes look of the girls creating their song to her, Tenchi ni Furetayo.
Give Me Wings was the very first song I ever heard you guys play.
Whoa, hold on, back up. No, I mean back up to K-On! English Dub History Part 1. In the first episode of the anime, there is a change in this dub. When the Light Music Club is convincing Yui to join their band, Mugi, Ritsu, and Mio in the Japanese version, and consequently the STI Media dub, play an instrumental of the Japanese folk song Tsubasa o Kudasai, or Please Give Me Wings. The Bang Zoom dub changes the song to Love Me Tender by Elvis Presley. This change is obviously a huge flub, and it begs the question, why change the song in episode 1 to begin with? I can't blame the writers for forgetting this detail or maybe not knowing it to begin with, but again, I ask, who said to change the song? Was it KyoAni? Was it Bandai? Was it Bang Zoom? I have my doubts on that last one, but whatever the case, it led to the dub really dropping the ball during an emotional moment. This goof up screws up the reasoning behind naming the song Tenchi ni Furetayo, which means We Touched an Angel. Azusa gave the club their wings. She's a little angel to the club. All in all, the dub's quality regarding voices and direction matches the main material, but as seen here, it contains a lot of faults, several of which aren't necessarily the fault of the dub. Of course, the dub is going to struggle to adapt the language barrier. Of course, the writers for the dub are going to miss some references and jokes. Of course, Bang Zoom isn't going to have immediate access to many Brits for this dub, especially because this is before the wonderful world of remote recording became huge. All the same, there are sections where the dub could have done better, like how it chooses to adapt the girls' understanding of English. Critical reception of this film's dub, though, remained favorable in reviews by Anime News Network's crew. Nick Creamer's review repeated his positive opinion of the dub from previous articles, although still criticizing the songs being undubbed. He gave the dub a B and the Japanese version a B+. While Carlos Santos noted the dub's disadvantage because of the language barrier jokes, he still praised it for its voices, energy, and script. He provided the dub a B- and the Japanese track a B. Most other reviews of the movie don't mention the dub, and ones that do just point out how it is flawed by the nature of the language barrier, so all I have for this is ANN's reviews. Before we get to the wrap-up, a few more things. Sentai Filmworks did a few re-releases of K-On! Over the years since its conclusion, and they add content not found in the original releases. Specifically, later releases add in the Uraon vignettes, which are goofy shorts with the HTT girls. These remain undubbed on home video releases. The latest set to come out in the Region 1 market is the K-On! Ultimate Collection Blu-ray. This master package contains all of Season 1 and 2 and the movie, plus every bonus feature from prior releases, plus the Uraon vignettes. That's a heck of a deal. K-On! Is also available on High Dive, Sentai streaming service, and previously was on Netflix in the US, with some changes to the subtitles and Japanese audio track. The script is carried from the home video version, but changes the dollars to yen in Season 1 and, weirdly enough, uses Love Me Tender on the Japanese audio track instead of Subaso Kudasai. That baffles me. K-On's manga was also released in full by Yen Press, including the college volumes, which by the way could work for a Season 3. This concludes K-On's history of English releases. It's been one heck of a ride, so let's move on to the wrap-up. K-On! Left an imprint on anime culture, for better or worse. One of its biggest impacts was popularizing moe anime in both the East and West, by anime fans of the late 2000s and early 2010s, and even some fans just curiously hopping in today. The franchise still enjoys a fond following over a decade after its conclusion. From a dubbing standpoint, K-On's dub in Hong Kong may not have been well received, but the US dub turned out to be an important project for many in the dubbing industry. The dub helped actresses like Christina Vee and Cassandra Lee Morris push outside their usual voice roles, and even launched multiple careers, as seen with Christine Marie Cabanos, Erica Harlicker, and in terms of official projects, Martin Billany. There's one constant across the cast from both veterans and newcomers. Actors in the US dub continue to look back on K-On! With fond memories. Most members of the main cast have gone on to do even bigger projects, but K-On! Continues to hold a special place in all their hearts. I think Cassandra Lee Morris said it best: K-On! Memories are the best memories. If you want to watch or rewatch K-On! For yourself, as of April 2023, the series is streaming in the US on High Dive and Roku with a subscription, and is available for digital purchase on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, and Vudu. If you want to buy it on home video, I mentioned earlier North American viewers can check out the K-On! Ultimate Collection Blu-ray for the complete series. For the Hong Kong dub, you can say it with me, Google it. It's out there. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave in the comments what did you think of the English dubs of K-On! How did you first discover the series? What else should I cover in this series? I'm always listening to your suggestions. In fact, K-On! Was a viewer suggestion. Thanks for sticking with me through 3 videos. I went in believing I could do K-On! In 1 video, but quickly realized that was not realistically happening. Next time is finally gonna be the long-awaited Urusei Yatsura Part 2, with Abi from the Cartoon Cypher. After that will be the Donor's Choice from Extra Life 2022, Whisper of the Heart, and The Cat Returns. After that, wait and see. Really, the rest of the lineup for the year, minus one thing, is all requests. I'm also looking at finally changing the name of the video series, English Dub History, to something else. English Dub History is just a thing I thought of off the top of my head one day, but I don't think it adequately explains what I do or what I want to do. I'm still talking on my Discord server about what to name the series, so if you want to be part of that conversation, consider joining my Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, shout out to all of my supporters on Patreon and Twitch. Supporters on either platform got to see this video early, so if you'd like to support what I do, gain access to my exclusive Discord server, and have your name on screen here, please consider supporting. And special thank yous go to everyone that donated during Extra Life 2022. Andrew Bergman, Cybershroom, Janet L, Joe D, Matt, Project Scion, Straw Hat Ryan, and everyone else that donated during the event. Until next time, take care.